Okay, so we're diving deep into SimLab today.
Oh, cool.
They're going to be at BAU 2025
BAU 2025.
in Munich.
Yeah.
Huge trade fair. It's like the biggest one in the world
For building and architecture,
for
yeah.
building architecture, all that stuff. And it's happening January 13th to the 17th
That Messe München.
at Messe München.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're, into like the future of construction,
This is the place to be.
this is it.
Absolutely.
So SimLab, they're going to be at the BVBS collective stand, which is Hall C3 stand 306.
Okay.
And they're going to be showing off all the stuff they do to help manage like the entire life cycle of a building.
Oh, wow.
We're talking from like the very beginning, like let's build this thing, all the way to how do we keep this thing running smoothly for years to come?
I see. So like cradle to grave.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a whole 9 yards.
The whole shebang.
Yeah.
And they're really focused on solutions for industrial and commercial buildings.
Right, because those are a little bit more complex than, say, like a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
So SimLab has these two main product families that they're going to be showing off.
Okay.
SimLab Stages and SimLab Simon.
Catchy names.
Yeah, I like them.
Uh-huh.
What do those do?
So basically think of it this way. SimLab Stages, that's your go-to for like the construction phase. Like when you're actually building it, making that whole process, which can be kind of chaotic, a little bit more efficient and transparent.
Okay.
And then once the building's actually up and running, then Simon comes in.
Right.
And that's more for like the ongoing management.
Gotcha.
So maintenance, energy efficiency, security, all that kind of stuff.
So it's kind of like a 1-2 punch for building success.
Yeah, exactly.
Stages gets it built right, and then Simon keeps it running smoothly.
I like it.
I like it too.
A good analogy.
But before we get into like all the nitty-gritty details about each product,
Mhm.
I'm really curious about this whole digital twin thing
Oh, yeah.
that SimLab keeps talking about.
Right.
What is that?
Yeah, so it's pretty mind-blowing. It's like imagine a virtual replica of the physical building,
Okay,
but it's so much more than just like a 3D model.
I see.
We're talking about like a dynamic, data-rich representation
Right.
that's constantly evolving and updating as the building changes.
So it's like a living, breathing blueprint, but it's in the digital world.
You got it.
Okay, cool.
And the key is integration.
Okay.
So this digital twin pulls in data from all sorts of sources.
I see.
So you've got your building information modeling, or BIM.
Uh-huh.
That's like basically a digital representation of every aspect of the building design. And then
Okay.
you've got your facility management systems, or FM,
Right.
and that tracks things like maintenance schedules, energy usage,
Gotcha.
and then even the Internet of Things.
IoT.
IoT, exactly.
Yeah.
So all the sensors and devices throughout the building, all that information is getting fed back to this digital twin.
So it's like having a central nervous system for the building
Yeah, you got it.
where everything is connected and talking to each other.
That's exactly it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And that's where the real power comes in.
Right, because you've got all this data in one place.
Yeah.
So you can do some pretty amazing things like optimize building performance,
Yeah.
predict and prevent maintenance issues,
Wow.
and even personalize the building experience for occupants.
That's incredible. Okay. I'm starting to see the possibilities here.
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff.
So how does SimLab actually use this digital twin technology
Right.
in their Stages and Simon products?
Yeah.
Let's start with Stages.
Okay.
What problems is it solving for like construction teams?
Well, one of the biggest headaches in construction is just keeping everyone on the same page. Like plans change, things get delayed,
Right.
and all of a sudden the building that's going up doesn't quite match what everyone thought they were building.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
So Stages tackles this by using the digital twin to provide real-time visibility into the construction progress. So everyone has access to this constantly updated virtual model of the building,
see.
and they can see exactly what's been done and what still needs to be done.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So no more like nasty surprises when you realize something was built in the wrong place or
Yeah.
it doesn't meet the specs or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so Stages is all about transparency and accountability
Yeah.
and making sure literally everyone's on the same page.
Or the same 3D model.
For the same 3D model, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sold on that one.
All right, good.
Now, let's talk about Simon. What happens once that building is finished and people start using it?
Right. So that's when Simon takes over,
Mhm.
and it really shines for managing those complex commercial and industrial buildings.
Right.
You've got so many systems to keep track of lighting, HVAC, security, fire, safety.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And Simon provides like this centralized hub
Okay.
where you can monitor and control everything.
So it's like mission control for the building. You can see everything that's going on and like make adjustments as needed.
Yep. And because it's all tied to that digital twin,
Uh-huh.
it's incredibly intuitive to use.
Okay.
So say you need to adjust the temperature in a specific room.
Right.
You just click on that room in the 3D model,
Okay.
and boom, you can control the thermostat.
That's so cool.
Or say you want to see if any lights were left on after everyone went home,
Uh-huh.
you can just pull up a real-time view of the building and check.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds incredibly powerful,
Yeah.
but also user-friendly,
Right.
which I imagine is a big plus for building managers.
Absolutely. They've got enough on their plate.
Right. They're juggling like a million things already.
Exactly.
So Simon goes beyond just like monitoring and control.
Uh-huh.
It can also use all that data it's gathering to like help optimize building performance.
Exactly.
Like making sure the energy usage is as efficient as possible.
Exactly. Someone can analyze patterns in energy consumption,
Okay.
see where you might be wasting energy, and even suggest ways to improve efficiency.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this can have a huge impact on the building's operating costs
Makes sense.
and its environmental footprint.
Yeah, for sure. So Simon isn't just about making life easier for building managers. It's also about making buildings more sustainable,
Absolutely. It's a win-win.
which is a big deal these days.
Huge deal.
Huge deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
And we're just scratching the surface here.
oh, really?
Yeah, Simon also has some really cool features for managing maintenance, handling security, and even personalizing the building experience for occupants.
Oh, wow.
But I think we should probably save those details for later.
Yeah, let's dive a little deeper.
Yeah, so we have time to really get into each one.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so we've talked about how SimLab Stages uses that digital twin to make construction less chaotic.
Yeah, a lot more organized.
You said there were 3 key features that really make Stages stand out.
Yeah.
What's the first one?
So the first one, remember how we were talking about how important it is to keep everyone on the same page during construction?
Yeah, that's always a challenge.
Definitely. So Stages has this really cool feature called Building Timeline.
Building timeline.
Yeah, it's basically a visual roadmap of the entire construction process.
Oh, wow.
Instead of just looking at a static blueprint, you can actually see how the building is supposed to come together over time.
So it's like a time-lapse video
Pretty much.
of the building getting built.
Yeah, you can see all the different stages laid out,
Uh-huh.
and you can switch between those stages to track the progress.
That's going to be super helpful for project managers
Yeah,
trying to keep everything on schedule.
absolutely. And it's not just about keeping things on track.
Right.
It's also about understanding how decisions made at one stage might impact things later on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Construction's so complex.
Yeah.
There's so many different pieces.
So many moving parts.
So having this kind of visual overview can really help people see the big picture.
It's all about making those connections,
Exactly.
understanding those ripple effects.
And speaking of connections, the second key feature of Stages is called Split Screen Compare.
Split screen compare. Okay, I like it.
This is where the digital twin really shines.
Okay, tell me more.
So basically, it lets you compare different project stages side by side,
Okay.
and it highlights any changes that have been made.
Yeah, I see.
You can literally see what was there before and what's there now.
Wow, so you can see if something was built differently from the plans.
Exactly.
And is this all happening within the 3D environment of the digital twin?
That's right.
Oh, wow.
So it's a really powerful tool for quality control,
Makes sense.
making sure that the construction is meeting the standards.
Yeah.
And because it's so visual,
Uh-huh.
it's much easier to understand any discrepancies.
I bet architects love this.
They do?
And inspectors.
Yeah. Anyone who needs to make sure everything is up to code.
Right, because you can catch those errors early.
Yeah,
Saves a lot of headaches and money.
absolutely.
Okay, so we've got building timeline for seeing the big picture. Split screen. Compare for accuracy and quality control.
Uh-huh.
What's the third key feature of SimLab Stages?
So the third one focuses on the human element of construction.
Okay.
Collaboration.
Collaboration, of course. Huge in construction.
Yeah, huge. So many different people involved.
Yeah, so how does Stages help with that?
So they have this collaboration toolkit.
Okay.
It basically takes communication to a whole new level.
Right.
It's like a virtual meeting room
Oh, wow.
right inside the digital twin.
Okay.
Teams can add notes, screenshots, tags, even multimedia attachments
Uh-huh.
directly to specific locations in the 3D model.
So instead of like sending emails or trying to explain something over the phone,
Right, exactly.
you can point to the exact spot in the virtual building and say, hey, we need to address this issue right here.
That's it. Everyone's looking at the same information.
I love that.
It's clear, it's visual.
Yeah.
Streamlines everything.
What's no more of those endless email chains?
Yeah, no more trying to decipher what someone meant in a phone call.
Right, exactly. This is a game changer.
It is especially for those large, complex projects.
Right, where you've got so many different contractors and subcontractors all working on different pieces.
Yeah, you've got to break down those silos.
Yeah, get everyone on the same page.
Exactly. Create that more cohesive, collaborative environment.
And when that happens, projects run smoothly.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Stages has us covered for the construction phase with its building timeline, split screen compare, and collaboration toolkit,
Yeah.
all powered by that digital twin.
It's a powerful platform.
It is. But what happens once construction is done and the building opens?
That's where Simon steps in.
Right, Simon.
It's all about managing all those systems and data.
Right, all those things that keep the building running.
Exactly.
I'm ready to dive into Simon.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so we've seen how Stages uses that digital twin thing for construction.
Yeah, it's really amazing what they've done with that.
But now the building's done, people are moving in.
Right, time for the next phase.
It takes it to switch gears to like managing and operating the building.
That's where Simon comes in.
Simon, right,
Yeah, it's like the command center for the building.
for the intelligent building.
Yeah, for the intelligent building keeps everything running smoothly.
Okay, and you mentioned that Simon has these modules
Yeah.
to tackle different parts of building management.
Right, different aspects.
Let's start with Simon FM for facility management.
Okay.
What's so special about that one?
So Simon FM, it's all about making those everyday tasks easier.
Okay,
The things you need to do to keep the building in good shape.
like what kind of things?
Like preventative maintenance, repairs, inspections, all that stuff.
Right, those things can get lost in the shuffle,
They do. It's easy to forget about them.
but they're important,
Oh, yeah, super important for the long-term health of the building.
especially in a big building.
Right, when you've got all those systems and assets to keep track of.
So many things to manage.
It's a lot, and that's where the digital twin comes in again.
Okay, how so?
So with Simon FM, you can connect all your maintenance tasks and data directly to the 3D model.
So instead of just having a list of tasks,
Right.
you can actually see where they need to be done.
Exactly. You can see it right there in the building.
So like if you need to inspect the HVAC system
Yeah.
on the 3rd floor, you click on that part of the 3D model.
Yep.
And you create a task.
You got to assign it to a technician, attach any documents.
Wow, it's like a virtual map
Pretty much.
of all the maintenance needs in the building.
And no more running around trying to find the right room or
Yeah.
whatever.
Or digging through file cabinets.
Exactly. It's all right there.
So efficient.
And it goes even further than that.
Okay. How?
You can track the progress of tasks,
Okay.
get alerts when something needs attention, even generate reports on maintenance history.
That's awesome. So it's not just about doing the work. It's like managing all the information too.
Exactly. It's a centralized
It
system.
makes things so much easier for facility managers.
Yeah, way less stressful.
Okay, so Simon FM is all about keeping things running smoothly.
Right. Keeping everything in good shape.
What about Simon IoT? This is the one that's about making buildings smarter.
Yeah, this is where we get into the really cool stuff.
Okay, I'm ready.
So remember how we said the digital twin is like the central nervous system? Well, Simon IoT is like the brain.
The brain, yeah.
It takes all that information from the smart devices
Right.
and uses it to make the building more efficient.
Okay.
It works with all the building automation technologies, lighting, HVAC security, you name it.
So you can manage everything from one place,
Exactly one central platform.
and it's all connected to the digital twin.
Of course, so it's super easy to use.
So if you want to adjust the lighting in a room, you just click on that room in the 3D model
That's it.
and make the changes.
Easy peasy.
What about like the temperature in the server room?
You can check that from your phone.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't matter where you are.
This is amazing.
It's pretty cool.
But the real magic is the data analysis, right?
Yeah, that's where things get really interesting.
Tell me more.
So Simon IoT, it gathers all this data from the building systems,
Right.
and it starts to see patterns in the energy consumption.
Okay.
It can see where you're using the most energy when those peak usage times or how occupancy affects things.
So it's like a detective for energy waste.
Exactly. It finds all those areas where you're losing money
Right.
and harming the environment.
Without even knowing it.
Yeah, and once it knows where the problems are,
Uh-huh.
it can suggest ways to fix them,
Okay.
like adjusting lighting schedules, fine-tuning the HVAC.
So it's not just giving you control.
Right.
It's actually making the systems smarter.
Exactly, making them work better.
That's incredible.
It's a game changer for sure.
And it's not just about saving energy,
No, it's also about occupant comfort.
right? Making the building more comfortable for the people inside.
Yeah, and making the equipment last longer.
Okay, so it's good for the environment, good for the building, good for the people.
It's a win-win-win.
I love it. Okay, so Simon IoT is all about efficiency and sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
What about Simon Assets?
So Simon Assets is like the ultimate organizer for your building.
Okay.
It's like a digital filing cabinet.
For the whole building.
Pretty much every piece of equipment, every system, every document.
Wow. So no more paperwork mountains?
No more searching for that one crucial document.
Right, exactly.
Everything's organized and easy to find.
Okay, give me an example.
So let's say you need the warranty information for an air handling unit.
Uh-huh.
You just click on that unit in the 3D model,
Okay.
and there it is, the warranty information.
So easy.
Or what about the maintenance history for an elevator?
Uh-huh.
Same thing. It's all right there linked to the 3D model.
This is a dream come true for facility managers.
I know, right? They're always drowning in information.
Right, so Simon Assets makes that information more useful.
Yeah, more accessible, more organized.
And it's all connected to the digital twin.
Right, so you can see how everything relates to the physical building.
Well, I think we've learned a lot about SimLab today.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Their digital twin technology is amazing.
It's really impressive.
Stages is changing how buildings are constructed.
For the better.
And Simon is taking building management to a whole new level.
Making them smarter, more efficient, more sustainable.
It's good for everyone.
Absolutely.
So if you're listening and you want to learn more about SimLab,
Check out their website.
yeah, they've got tons of information about their products and their vision.
Real world examples, too.
Yeah, you can see how their technology is being used in real buildings.
It's really inspiring stuff.
And here's something to think about.
Okay.
What if every building had a digital twin? How would that change things?
That's a great question.
How would it change the way we design, build, operate, experience our buildings?
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
The future of building is digital.
It's exciting times.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into SimLab.
It's been a pleasure.